Welcome to Spitbucket. Yet again, Chris Morrison, National Ambassador for such things as MUMM Champagne.
How are you, mate?
I'm well, yourself?
Good to be with you again.
Indeed. Nice that you changed your clothes. We have the pointy end of MUMM. And as we've discussed previously, MUMM went through a period where it perhaps wasn't at the top of everyone's list of great champagnes, but they've put a lot of work into coming back from that.
Absolutely.
We've got the three
Prestige Cuvees, I guess.
However you want to call them.
Yeah.
They're quite interesting. And this is always, I've always liked, no, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
This one. The MUMM de Crammant. Now, it used to be called Crammant de Crammant.
Indeed, it did.
Say that quickly.
Yeah.
But then there was problems with the use of the
generic sparkling wines in France being Crammant. Yeah, exactly.
Tell our members, viewers, etc., a bit about this wine, because this is a very different champagne to what.
Absolutely. So as we were talking about before, MUMM is a Pinot influenced house. Well, this one is 100% Chardonnay. So it's a Blanc de Blanc. The vineyards are situated just near the village of Crammant in the Côte de Blanc. So it's one of those beautiful wines that all champagne does. That can be one of those beautiful aperitif styles. Very delicate, very soft, very finely beaded. Lots of wonderful acidity. Everything I guess you'd expect from beautiful, fresh, and it is unoaked Chardonnay. But the idea with this is that being a non-vintage, you can't, obviously, you have to have a minimum 15 months on lees. We found that with Crammant and the style of wine that it is, if you extend that lees aging period, the autolytic character, or those yeasty, bready kind of characters you get with aged champagne, interfere or can come over the top.
So that's why you're not calling it a vintage, because if you called it a vintage, then you'd have to go the 3 years.
Exactly right. The idea about the wine style has always been to keep that pressure at a low range. It helps with the texture of the wine.
Yeah, it does. It gives it a completely different mouthfeel.
Yeah, so
a lovely creamy character.
Exactly. So where Blanc de Blancs be kind of linear and have that really lovely racy acidity down the middle, this one kind of engages more of your mouth, and you get a better sort of a rounder mouthfeel, if you could say.
On a completely different topic, I don't know whether you can see this, but if you have a look, Chris's glass is bubbling away quite happily.
What have you done to yours?
Mine looks like still wine. Now. It's not the wine. It's the glass.
Okay.
And that's one of the things. If you're washing glasses in dishwasher and so forth, you can get this character where it just there's a film or whatever left on the glass, and you don't get the fizz. So it's not always. You might pour it and think, oh, there's no fizz. There's something wrong with it. It can be more likely the glass than the bottle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's because they both came from the same bottle.
No, indeed.
Sorry, that's just to digress.
This wine was never actually released until I think 1960. It was always kept as a kind of a wine that was made for friends of the house. So good clients, people who'd help the house out in tough times, vignerons and so on. And it was hand delivered by a representative of the MUMM household, and they delivered it with their card and folded down that corner to show the wine had been delivered by hand. It's got a great story, great background, but as you said, it's one of those gems in the whole Champagne kind of regional portfolio that people should get in touch more, because we understand Chardonnay, I think, as a country better than most.
Oh, Blanc de Blanc style is a beautiful style of wine. Yeah,
love it.
And I don't really know of any other champagne that does this lower pressure thing. Can you think of one?
No, I can't. I mean, I think stylistically they've aimed to create a point of difference through mouthfeel, which I think is fantastic. A lot of people can capture the Crammant style of fruit, but that mouthfeel, that shift in mouthfeel.
It's a total different mouthfeel. It's just that lovely, creamy character. I've long, even when MUMM was down in the doldrums, as it were.
They still made that. That was one of those wines I don't think
stood out.
It didn't suffer. I don't know why. I don't know that far back in the history of the house, but the people who kept with the house were largely kept with it because of the quality of Crammant.
Righto, 2002.
Yep.
Fantastic vintage. Probably the best vintage, well, definitely the best vintage since '96.
Yep.
And even though there's some good vintages in the pipeline, there may not be any as good as 02.
Not this decade, I don't think you're going to see.
They're very happy with those 608. 04 is also wonderful.
04s, this will be the next release, this wine actually will be in 04.
Yep.
There we go.
There we are. That's a more contented bottle.
Yeah, you don't know her, do you?
No, I certainly don't.
Here you go, mate. This is one of the wines that if you try and track the improvement of quality of the house over the last 10 years, this is one of the wines that has started to show the most improvement. I think they've had some very good years, but vintage quality in Champagne and how that marries with the house message is always an interesting kind of equation to get right.
Well, best MUMM vintage for a very long time.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. Absolutely. And this is again 6, 7 years on lees. So what's also happened in MUMM is because the fruit quality has increased, the time on lees has increased. So it can handle that extended maturation in the cellar, which is actually for us one of the signs that the vignerons, and Didier's background's in oenology, so he's got a real passion for vineyards. And I was there 2 months ago. You must go to MUMM someday, actually, Ken. And
most of the other houses.
And
they were all good.
But Didier just loves to get out, and he eats that food with his growers. He likes to sit down and play cards with them. He likes to drink with them. He's a great ambassador for the brand, but he's never happier than when he's in his vineyards working with vignerons and grape growers, and that's the reason why this stuff's improving.
Now, you're a fan of the 99 vintage?
I think it's obviously this wine was relaunched in 1998. Ken was there.
Indeed. Oh, the boats arriving across the harbour.
Indeed, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, the hullabaloo that went on.
I know, the life of a junketeer.
It was an interesting evening.
It was a very interesting evening.
Perhaps best moving on.
and we launched it with the 98. So 98 was a very different year. The 98 presented a lot of richness and complexity and all these kind of things. This is a fresher year, and I think you can see.
I'm more of a fan of 98 than 90. I don't mean specifically this wine. I mean in general. Careful, you've actually put some in the glass.
Have I? That's a nice change. I think 98 and 99 are always going to have their fans, and I think...
Oh, there's some very good wines from 99.
Yep.
But to me, it doesn't have the class of 98. But
yeah, no, agreed. 99 presented different, especially for us, different Chardonnay characters, Chardonnay fruit. This wine is 50-50 Chardonnay Pinot. Very low dosage, and the thing about that wine, if you smell it, and the freshness in this wine, 10 years on lees. Now that's something that is quite rare still. There's a handful of champagne houses that have extremely extended aging periods, but this wine is a second release since its relaunch in 2007, and it's a great example of how Lalou reflects vintage.
I mean, it is a beautiful wine, undoubtedly. It's got lots of complexity, and it's just that lovely slight toastiness coming in.
Yeah.
Waves and waves.
Can you see the difference between, you know 98 Lalou really well. That and 98
not as well as I'd like to, but...
But the difference between those two is that I think with this wine you feel Chardonnay sort of jumping out a bit more. There's a freshness and the vibrancy in the fruit character.
That's beautiful.
But
that can go over there now.
This is one of those wines in a handful. I mean, normally we don't encourage people to age champagne because we like to sell it. Obviously,
yeah, that's one of the great things. I mean, champagne can age so wonderfully well that they don't want you to do that because they just want to keep selling it.
Exactly, exactly.
Chris Morrison, national brand ambassador, Pinot Ricard.
Are you a spitter now? Have you been on Spitbucket? You're a spitter, or is there any kind of title? No.
You know, we have a 2 appearance rule that we've just instigated. Thank you for your second appearance.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
All right. Now, again, any questions you've got about any of these wines, send them in. We'll pass them on to Chris. He'll ignore them. So we'll have a crack. Any thoughts, comments, etc.? Have you tried? I mean, thoughts on vintages. What are your thoughts on different champagne vintages? For me, the 02 is a stunner. 99 a bit more variable, but some good wines. And remember, we spit, so you don't have to. You don't have to either.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.